Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Environmental Justice Now. My name is Leah Jones, and I am the organizing coordinator and water justice organizer here at Virginia Interfaith Power and Light. Before we get started today, as usual, I'd like to do a very brief land acknowledgement. While we are on a video call and most of us are joining in from different places, we want to remind ourselves that we gather on the unceded land of the indigenous peoples. I'm joining in from so-called Richmond, Virginia, and I am currently located on the land of the Powhatan and Chickahominy peoples. If you are unsure of whose land you are on and you would like to find out, you can always visit native-land.ca to find out. Once again, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Environmental Justice Now. We have another episode full of General Assembly updates for you all. We actually have a big week coming up. This week mark basically the end of the first half of session. And next Tuesday, actually, February 7th, marks crossover, where the bills that were in their respective houses will now switch over if they did not die in committee meetings. So I say let's go ahead and run through just a few of the updates that we have. Some week highlights from GA that we were keeping track of this week. As usual, we're going to start with the bills that we are leading on this session, specifically our utility shutoffs protections bills. As you all know, last week, as I shared, our bill in the House died. Unfortunately, that bill sponsored by Delegate Shin, HB 2283, did not make it. However, our bill that was up in the Senate was actually up a couple times in the past few days since last week. So the good news is that the bill was actually heard a third time, or is actually about to be heard for a third time, and was heard earlier this week and was actually voted in favor of. The bill actually passed out of committee, so we'll have to see what is done in the next time the bill is read. And we do have, if you haven't already, the bill is probably going to be up at some point very soon. So please be on the lookout. And if you haven't already shared your support with your decision makers, with your legislators, please, your senators, please remember to do so. These are very important bills that we're trying to increase protections for our most vulnerable neighbors as it relates to utility shutoffs. And we all know that we are literally in the dead of winter. It was just snowing yesterday. Folks need their electricity, they need their water, they need their gas. They're essential services. So please, once again, show your support for those bills. And you can always, of course, find more information about the bills and how you can support on our GA webpage, which is scrolling across the screen right now as the bottom link. So in addition to the bill in the Senate, SB 1447, our utility shutoffs bill, another bill that we're leading on that I was able to mention last week, our comprehensive planning bill did also make it out of the Senate. So we're 2 for 2 right now so far. Hopefully our utility shutoffs bill in the Senate can make it all the way through and make it to crossover, so we can see what happens. And as far as the Senate and as far as the other bill goes, specifically addressing communities' comprehensive planning and healthy community strategies, we'll have to see what happens in crossover. Please, once again, make sure you show your support when the opportunity arises. Now, moving on to other bills that we are supporting this week. I know in the last Environmental Justice Now, I was able to update everyone about a 2004, the Virginia Electric Utility Regulation Act, this bill addressing the regulation of rates. As I mentioned last week, this bill we are supporting is alongside the Energy Burden Coalition. Specifically, what this bill does, HB 1604, it provides that the Virginia State Corporation Commission and any triennial review proceeding for an investor-owned incumbent electric utility commencing after the 1st of January this year determines that the utility's base rates will produce unreasonable revenues in excess of the utility's rate return. The commission may order any reductions to such base rates that it deems appropriate to ensure that the resulting base rates are reasonable for consumers. So basically, if we find that utilities, our electric utilities, the rates have been deemed too expensive, the SEC, the Virginia SEC, can take hold and order any reductions that may need to be reestablished so that rates can be more accessible and more reasonable for those consuming the service. So all in all, making electricity more affordable, more accessible, and more reasonably priced for the user. So that bill did also have that bill actually made it out of the House with 22 yeses and 0 no's. It was voted on just yesterday, so that's great news. And actually, also, this bill has a companion in the Senate as well. It's SB 1321. And that bill was actually just passed yesterday as well with 40 yeses and 0 no's. So it's great news. And of course, we are supporting other bills. However, as usual, I won't share them all here. That's just the highlight we have for this week. So please be sure to once again check out all of the other bills that we are supporting this session on our 2023 GA webpage on VIPL's website. Once again, you can find that here if you would like to learn more about any of these bills. Now, lastly, as usual, we are closing out with bills that we have been on the lookout for, bad bills that we have noticed have come to the forefront that will need some support against, some putting up our defenders, right? There's actually a bad Dominion bill. This bill is SB 1265, and it actually also has a companion bill in the House is HB 1770. The sponsors for these bills are Senator Saslaw and Delegate Kilgore, respectively. What this bill is actually doing is that it requires, as we know, the State Corporation Commission regulates the rates and profits of Appalachian Power as well as Dominion Energy because they are monopolies with very, very limited competition, practically no competition. And in the last review of Dominion's rates and profits, the SEC approved a profit level or return equity for Dominion of 9.35%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but think about how many people are consumers of these electric, especially an electric service like Dominion, 9.35%. So this bill will automatically raise Dominion's profit to 10.07% without any scrutiny from the SEC. And it's crazy because this actually goes against the SEC's expert recommendations that they've already provided for the state. So this bill will be going against that. With this, Dominion will have the power to raise their profits even more against their customers. So this bill will raise the cost of every utility project, natural gas plants, any solar projects, any offshore wind projects. It could all be up to $600 million more expensive. So unfortunately, this bill has been voted on in the Senate, and it was dispensed the first time it was read with 40 yeses and 0 nos, and actually it was passed by for the day in committee just yesterday. So we will see what is up ahead. Please be sure to speak out against this bill. Dominion does not need any more profits, any more increases, or anything, or rather any support from the legislation that would further support their continued growth of profits, especially at the what's the right word I'm looking for? At the expense of their consumers. So we must be sure that we are speaking out against Dominion, speaking out against this bill. Once again, SB 1265. Please be on the lookout. We want to make sure that we are making rates more affordable for Virginia residents, anyone who uses essential services, especially when we're thinking about electricity and how these rates have really just risen over the past couple of years. It's important that we are, supporting legislation that continues to hopefully make essential services, especially electricity, more affordable for its consumers. So a bill like SB 1265 is actually doing quite the opposite. And it's important that we speak out against it. So I think that is all I have for you today. Be on the lookout for the bad bills. Be on the lookout for the bills that we are leading on upcoming in crossover, as well as this last read for our utilities bill in the Senate, SB 1447. Yes, and we will be sure to hear from you all, hopefully, and as we continue to lobby, especially on our weekly calls happening on Mondays as usual, 6:30. At 6:30, we have our GA Action of the Week call. If you would like to learn more details about a particular action for the week, and we just sit there briefly and take action right there, and be in community with one another as we try to navigate this crazy GA. So we hope to see you all there, and we hope that you all check out our resources. Please be sure to join us if you can, and we'll look forward to seeing you all soon and in the same place next week. Please, as usual, also be sure to join VIPL if you haven't already. You can go to this link here and join our supporters list, where you can keep up with VIPL in regards to GA, but also everything else that we're up to. Please be sure to do that. And we will see you all next week at same time, same place. Good luck lobbying. Bye.